Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for joining today. We are going to do a holiday catering mini masterclass, a version of Catering with the Queen for restaurant royalty today. If you tuned in for the full holiday catering masterclass, thank you so much. If you have not tuned in for the holiday catering masterclass, this is a snippet of what is there. You are welcome to visit the CaterLinked website and download the entire masterclass. It is available for you. There will be a QR code to download the full version later on in the presentation, but I did want to give you a little bit of a snippet so you would know what was in there. So here we go with a quick agenda. Who is Elizabeth Jewell? We'll talk about the royal opportunity. We'll talk about menu magic, crowning the package, turning the court, ruling the streets, and then lastly, straightening your crown. And who am I? So I am not Elizabeth Jewell. My name is Jenn Saunders Haynes, and I am the founder and chief catering strategist at Elizabeth Jewell Consulting, where we do complete catering growth consultation. Elizabeth Jewell is named after my mother, Angela Elizabeth, and my grandmother, Elizabeth Jewell, who taught me how to cook. They are the heart of Elizabeth Jewell Consulting. And again, we offer full service catering consultation, specializing in custom program development and ongoing management, built especially to grow your catering sales and boost your business. So moving on to the royal opportunity. Did you know that one catering order can equal 10 to 20 restaurant guests? So last holiday season, Easy Cater found that 81% of employees plan to attend the workplace party, and food was what most people look forward to. So I talk about this because if you are experiencing a loss in restaurant sales, or sales in general, and you get one average catering order, that could potentially replace those 10 to 20 guests that are not coming in. And that only grows during the catering season, right? And so if you're doing multiple catering orders, that's 10 to 20 guests times however many catering orders you get. So catering is a huge way to get that business that you may be missing, especially in Q4. And then moving on to menu, talking a little bit how to streamline the holiday menu. We talk about, keeping your options simple, focusing on your best sellers, and then limiting customization. In the full masterclass, we share some tips on how each of these can work through, but keeping your options simple really just means reducing that complexity and keeping everything operationally sound. Overly complicated menus means overly complicated operational procedures inside the four walls. So be careful with how you put your items on the menu. You also want to focus on your best sellers. You want to lean on your proven winners. If you know something sells well in your restaurant, focus on that. Make sure that it's front and center on your restaurant. You don't want people to have to dig through your menu to find what they want. Lean on bundles and fan favorites. Bundles sell really well. It gives people an opportunity to click checkout and pay without having to think about upsells and add-ons. And then if you are putting something new on your menu, you can use existing ingredients, right? So if you're creating something new for catering, especially for holiday, you don't have to bring in another PLU or SKU. You can use what already exists and work with your culinary team to put something really special on the menu. And then lastly, you want to avoid that analysis paralysis. You don't want people, again, to be scrolling through the menu, trying to find what they want. You want to set those bundle guardrails without having to customize every single thing. Maybe they could just customize a protein instead of customizing every topping. And then you want to train your staff to upsell sides and desserts if they're taking orders themselves in person or by phone. If you are using an online system or a platform for your tech stack that's taking catering orders, you can ask your tech partner about how their upsells work. If you're not using it currently, there may be some opportunity there as well. And then for bundles, you want to create bundles that sell and scale. So lower COGS mean higher margins. You want to make sure that you have minimal waste, have items that are travel friendly and that are easy to execute. Again, easing any operational complexity inside the four walls. You want to design for groups and use simple packaging. And then again, bundle fan favorites together. So it takes the guesswork out of somebody having to put it together themselves, especially if it shows a clear per person in that bundle. And then you boost your add to cart speed. A lot of times in B2B situations, executive assistants especially don't want to waste a lot of time figuring out what things are and finding things and adding things to the cart. They want to quickly be able to add a bundle to a cart and then check out. And then next, as we talk about packaging, on the left, we have a missed opportunity, and on the right, we have a walking billboard. And we've talked about this in some restaurant royalty sessions before, but your packaging is an opportunity to sell not just catering, but your in-restaurant business. You don't want somebody to walk into a room that you've catered and they don't know where the food has come from. They don't know what they're eating. They don't know anything because they haven't ordered it. They just showed up for this meeting. So your packaging is a way to tell your brand story and share what's special about your brand and why it's important. If that's, an eco-friendly message, if you have a QR code, if you have nutritional information, if you wanted to match the style, look, and feel of the brand, all of that is an opportunity. And these don't have to be expensive things. We talked about stickers and stamps and wraps to hold everything together. There are ways that you can go about this packaging that are not fully branded, but also speak to your brand and help tell a story. For the missed opportunity, I believe the food in these containers would be delicious. I would have no idea where it came from so that I can order it again. And these catering guests that are sitting in this room may also turn into an in-restaurant guest. They may also turn into another catering guest for a future event, for a B2C occasion. So think about that as you go into the holiday season and how you're promoting yourself. Next, talking about training the court. So the court being your team, right? Training is important. Holiday catering is not just like any traditional pickup order. It's a different channel. Catering in general is a different channel. So I have this really beautiful picture by Liz Pearson. She's the director of company catering operations at Nuke's Eatery. And she posted this on LinkedIn a while back, but this is a huge operation, a huge undertaking. This is not something that people just know how to do when they walk into a restaurant, even if they've worked in a restaurant before. If that restaurant didn't have a catering program or catering operations, they wouldn't know how to build these boxes. They wouldn't know how to prep for them. They wouldn't know how to check them and make sure everything was in the boxes. So this kind of catering requires different training, different focused. It impacts not just ops, but the kitchen staff and the teams involved. It brings in a new revenue stream, and it also involves all the business functions, not just inside the restaurant, but if you're working in a corporate system, it also involves your support center. So you want to make sure everybody is involved. It's all hands on deck, even your delivery providers, your logistics teams, your tech, whatever it is. Everybody needs to be on the same page. And it has to be communicated and trained on. If you don't have training procedures, please consider writing some for the holiday season, especially, and then consider taking what you've written for the holiday season and really making that a full program as you look to 2026. Next, ruling the streets. Ruling the streets is just marketing outside the four walls. So again, in our larger masterclass, we spend a little bit more time on this. I won't drain the slide here in this quick session, but as a restaurant, you have tons of opportunity in office parks and community centers and big box retailers, faith and nonprofits, local chambers and booster clubs. When you're thinking about this, it's not what your support center can do for you. It is who is in your community as your restaurant, and who can you serve. So even if you're working as a franchisee or franchise partner, your restaurant is still part of that community. And so it'll be up to you to really do some boots on the ground marketing to try to figure out how you can work with the partners in your community as a true partnership. Maybe you're bartering services. Maybe there's a kickback. Maybe there's a discount for certain events. You really want to work with them to understand how you can help and how you can support them and not just try to sell them, right? Because you want to keep them for the holiday season this year, but then you want them to come back next year. And in between time, you want to make sure you have trust and have built a relationship so that if they're doing inventory or training or having some other function, they'll think of you first before they even get to holiday season. Just selling them, you're not going to have that kind of relationship. They're just going to think of you as a service provider, and they'll come to you for a service when they need you, but it won't be a relationship partnership, and they won't think of you as part of the community. So start building those relationships now so that you can have them through the holiday season and into 2026. All right, so how do you get more? How do you straighten your crown even more? So there are some crown jewels. There's catering content on YouTube. If you scan this QR code, you can find all of my restaurant royalty videos as well as some of my friends on there. Some really great content for you to discover. There's more content being added all the time. And again, if you are interested in downloading the full hour session, click that QR code for CaterLink. You can join the CaterLinked community, and you will find the full masterclass for you to purchase and download on the website. Please connect with me on LinkedIn and follow me on Instagram. I post regularly, and you'll find tips and tricks on my feeds, as well as some fun photos and videos of where I am in the future. Thanks so much for joining today. I hope that this was valuable and a little teaser for the holiday season. I hope that you will download the video, and I hope you have an amazing holiday season as far as catering is concerned. Thank you.